Hello there, guys. Welcome back to the SixYard Banter, your home of emotional, unstable Chelsea therapy sessions, where every episode feels like the club is stress testing my mental health. And today we need to have serious, real, uncomfortable conversations about what's happening at the club. Okay, because right now, Chelsea just look like a team running in circles, tripping over themselves and drowning in confusion. This December stroke January run is becoming one of the worst we've seen in years, and while yes, the club backs this rotation strategy and the way it's been executed is turning into a tactical circus. Let's just break this down, yeah? So let's start with the facts, yeah? And these are backed by the Athletics. Chelsea are intentionally rotating, not sometimes, not when needed, but it's a club wide season long strategy because this season could stretch to 67 plus matches. And the idea is to manage a load, um, um, fresh legs for the get ensure that there's fresh legs for the run-ins, maintain or minimize injury and more long-term consistency. The theory, which makes sense theoretically, yeah. Modern football demands this kind of planning, but here's the issue. And so Maresca has made 119 changes in just 23 matches. Like 119 changes, the most of any Premier League coach. Rotation is fine, but overthinkering, that's something else entirely. Okay, it's not rotation anymore. Okay, this is a Rubik cube with six missing squares. And how do we end up with two right backs in the midfield, Caicedo ending up in the right as a right back, players switching roles mid games, and no consistency from week to week? The idea behind rotation is to keep players fresh, but the way it's being done today, especially in Chelsea, the players look confused, disjointed, and unsure of their roles. In the match against Atalanta, everyone could see Enzo Fernandez was cooked by halftime. So Maresca decides to take him off, which was fair, and I back that. But then instead of bringing on a like for like replacement or someone close to that, someone like Andre Santos, or at best take out Enzo Fernandez and drop, because Enzo Fernandez was playing as a 10, drop Joao Pedro back and bring on McGew to replace Joao Pedro as a 10, as a 9, and Joao Pedro replacing Enzo Fernandez as a 10. That would have made sense. Or bring on Andre Santos, who was actually on the bench. But then, no, Maresca decides to start reorganizing the entire midfield structure. Santos has shown discipline, shown physicality, and even comfort proven that he's comfortable playing in deeper roles. Is literally the profile needed to stabilize the midfield late in games. And Maresca's lack of trust is in certain players is now costing points, and then burning out the ones he plays week in, week out, confusing the roles of the ones that he rotates. And the biggest problem that I have with Maresca is that managers can study opponents, as in managers should adapt in games. But what I see with Maresca is that Chelsea prepare for every opponent like a chameleon, like changing colors, shapes, and formation, and sometimes even the entire identity of of the team every single match. There's just no consistency in Chelsea's style of play and all that. It just shows that we are reacting and adjusting, like we are responding to what they do instead of building a structure that they should fear. We should have. I'm not saying we should follow the blueprint of Man City or all these possession keeping teams to the T, but then we're supposed to have an identity that emphasizes on keeping of the ball, maintaining possession, and all that and all that. But no, we are reacting to every team that comes on to play. For example, a couple of weeks back, Chelsea lost because Enzo Maresca set up in a 4-2-3-1, thinking that the opponent, that's Leeds United, thinking that Leeds United will come in a 4-3-1, but then they came in a different formation. And what did Enzo Maresca do? He decides to scrap everything. Like the react, we should be proactive. We should have our own style of play that should be able to break down opponent. That opponent should fear. Chelsea is used to imposing their own games. Now we are being dragged into other teams' plan. And this is how a team loses identity, and we are slowly losing that identity. The team is starting to show loss in confidence, and it's becoming a consistent chaotic thing. Okay, I'll just give you this analogy. Yeah, imagine you are a chef, okay, trying to cook a perfect 5-star meal. You've bought the right ingredients, the kitchen is clean, everything is ready, but instead of following a clear recipe, you start adding too much spice, changing the ingredients every minute, and swapping the dish halfway through, mixing random flavors just because they just might work. They just might, in quote, might work. What happens? At the end, you ruin the meal because you're unsure. You've overdone everything. And this is just what Enzo Maresca is doing. He has everything he needs to cook a simple, effective, structured dish. Okay, and he's adding unnecessary complexities with every match. Over tinkering, over seasoning, over cooking, and the dish just ends up burnt, just like we just ended up shooting ourselves in the foot against Atalanta and even against Leeds United. The squad is big, and as a matter of the squad is big enough, and some players must be trusted, and as soon as now. You have players like Santos, Buonanotte, Maguire, even Urelato, Achempongu. After months of fans talking and pundits talking and all that, they decide to give Josh Achempong his first start in months. And then there's the excuse of trying to protect players like Estevan William. It's okay to protect him, he's young, but you can't hide talent forever. The game was screaming for Estevan William, and then what did he do? He ends up taking Jamie Gittins to the right and bringing on Garnacho. Gittins, who was stinking up the whole field. When the team lacks creativity, lack of trust becomes a problem. And the danger now is that the players will start to feel unclear about their roles. They start to feel unsure if they will play, and constant swapping in and swapping. It's just the the change in roles and all that is just going to keep messing up. The players will just end up getting confused. Like they ended up, like it was clear, crystal clear towards the end in the second half. They were just unsure of what the players wanted to do. The players as well did not even know what they needed to do, what they were doing. We saw this pattern last season, and it's starting to look like that again, even this season. And we take on Everton, who's been on serious form the last few weeks, and Chelsea need to start winning. It's not optional. It's not negotiable. Okay, this Everton side, they're informed, they are physical, they are direct, they are confident, and Chelsea, for we have the laps who is going to be out for at least 4 months. Okay, and Caicedo is also going to be missing due to the suspension he's got. Enzo Fernandez is exhausted. Palmer is just returning from injury and trying to find match fitness. The squad chemistry is looking low and confidence shaking, while the gaffer is overthinkering. We're heading into this game with a tired core, a confused structure, and a manager who is under pressure. The fans are going to start losing their patience. Okay, and if things go wrong, if Chelsea drop more points, people will start throwing around the word crisis, and it's not going to be an exaggeration. Okay, and then rumor have it that Chelsea are looking at going into the market in January transfer window, and their targets like Murillo of Nottingham Forest, McGee, who's running down his contract at Crystal Palace, and even Lukemba. There's also the news that it's also been confirmed that Chelsea are not going to fast track Emmanuel Imega's move to Chelsea in January. But for the other ones, I'll believe it when I see it, because the club's transfer behavior has become completely unpredictable. The only thing you are sure about is when the club decides to go for 16 year olds, old players, and all that. And the injuries are forcing urgency that the club isn't even matching at all. January cannot fix everything. Maresca needs to fix things and fix them right now. I'm going to be giving you guys my match predicted lineup. This is coming. This is not. This is coming before the press conference against Everton. Okay, because I might not be. I'm not sure if I'm going to be around. So I rather just have my match prediction. I mean my predicted lineup for the game against Everton, and wrap up with my score prediction. And I want to believe, fingers crossed. I don't know how Chelsea will grind out a win. They don't have to play perfect. I don't expect them to play perfect because let's be real, the players are tired, and injuries to Romeo Lavia and Levi Colwell, even Cole Palmer and Delap, it's just not helping things at all. Okay, it's just not helping things. The club will need to look at the January transfer window, or at worst, call back one of the centre backs in either Anselmino, who is having the form of his life with Dortmund, or bring back Mamadou Sarr from Strasbourg. But one thing is certain: we need to shore up the defense line. And then what to do with the midfield, I don't know what to do, because I was gonna ask. I'm still in agreement or in support of giving Romeo Lavia the room to recover and all that, but at the expense of the club and the chase for top four, because let's be real, we are done with title chase. Okay, with a chase for top four, we need a backup as soon as possible. Anyway, so this is my lineup for the game against Everton, and with Sanchez in goal. Sanchez doesn't need to rest, because it's one of those areas where you don't need so much changes and all that. And then with the back four of Gusto at right back, Chaluba and Badiashile as a centre back pairing, with Cucurella in left back. And a midfield trio of Reece James, Enzo Fernandez, and Cole Palmer as the 10. The attack with Neto playing from the left, Estevan William playing from the right, and Joao Pedro as the striker. If we have the game in the bag, or we need to call on players to help the team, we can bring on Achempong or maybe Ato. I don't know what to say as regards Fofana. That's right. If I can't confirm for certain if Fofana is injured and going to be out for the game against Everton, or is going to be joining, is going to be starting. However, I've just left him on the bench to start from the bench at worst. Okay, and then you can also bring on Santos later on in the game to help Enzo Fernandez, and then you also have players like Buonanotte who can also do, a decent job. Garnacho, even McGee and all that. This team, or this lineup, for me, has balance, has width, and you have creators. Okay, I just expect that it, I expect and hope that Enzo Maresca will not overcomplicate things. That's just the problem I have with Enzo Maresca. This lineup for me doesn't overcomplicate roles. Just play it simple. Simplicity is elegance. Stop doing all the old thing and putting players out of roles. Okay, it's just a straightforward game, and Just play people where they belong. Okay, play the players where they belong. Okay, Chelsea need clarity, they need identity, and they need to trust. Enzo Maresca needs to trust what he has. If it's not working, fine, but you will not know until he starts to trust them and use them in the proper way. We need consistency in shape, and they need to stop reacting and start imposing, because we are heading down a dangerous path. And unless this gets fixed quickly, December and January will define the season in the worst possible way. Chelsea must win against Everton, and that's non-negotiable. It's a given, and I expect a win from this game. Not just for the table, but for my own sanity's sake, because I'm losing sleep over Chelsea. Chelsea, I refuse for you to be the end of me. And with that, I'm going to end with my score prediction. I'm expecting Chelsea 2, Everton 1. Let me know what you guys think about everything that I've been said here in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video and share this video, because that's the only way you can help me grow this channel. I'll be here to give it. There are other stuffs that I can talk about. There are things I want to talk about, but I just needed to get this out of the way and get this off my chest, because Chelsea right now is messing up on my head. Never thought I would be in this position where Chelsea will actually be clouding my head. If there's any other thing that comes up between now and the game, I'll be here to share with you guys. But then don't forget to check out this space for my match reaction. I'll be here to give you guys my match reaction, and hopefully we'll be here to celebrate and talk about how Chelsea won the game against Everton. Until then, it's Chelsea first, rivals next. Peace.